In here. Inside. You got help. Good boy. Does this feel very weird? Do I need my emotional support dog? Yes. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to my first video. Thank you for joining me. My name's Nat. I'm an amateur bodybuilder from the UK, and I guess this is now my YouTube channel. I told myself I'm not going to do any retakes, so bear with, I've had to write a little script. This channel has been on my mind for a little while. I love the sport, everything about it, everything it encompasses, and want to be able to share my journey in some way. And this seems like the most natural route. I want to use this space to document what I do, how I do it, provide an inside look at what I believe it takes to pursue it in its rawest form. Just simple action, hard work, repeated relentlessly. So here's a little bit about me. I'm 26. I've been training in the gym since as long as I can remember. I was about 10 years old. It was always for sports. So it was for rugby, mixed martial arts at quite a high level. Always trained predominantly for performance, but I've always been obsessed with being the biggest and the strongest on the team, that kind of thing. Then due to dropping out of school early, having to work full time, because of work commitments, I had to stop the sports side of things, but always found time to get in the gym and shift in around my jobs. I've been competing in bodybuilding since I was 18 years old. I won my first show, which is an old NABBA show. It was NABBA Junior West Britain. I then took some time out to improve my physique and competed again in my final year as a junior in 2022, where I won an overall and 2 junior British titles. Since stepping off stage, I've had my head down, just trying to build a physique that I think is worthy of the open stage. I've got no sponsors, I've got no coach. It's just me, my circle, Ron Dog, and my love for the work and big goals. I hope you enjoy following along and gain something from me sharing my experience in a sport that's given me.
I'm not really sure how this works. I'm not totally sure what you've seen so far. I'm assuming you've seen me walk, run, take supplements, do cardio, cook a little bit. So yeah, I'm putting meal one together. I am in off season, so food is high. We have multiple carb sources, multiple protein sources. I'm having a bit of a play at the moment in terms of working out how I can lower the volume of food, not through any issues with appetite or satiety, more just in the hopes of keeping my midsection tight, because I'm someone that benefits greatly from the fact that I've got a smaller midsection, but I'm also an ex-fat kid, so I have a very good appetite. So meal one, we have cream of rice and berries, sourdough, white fish, and whole eggs. So yeah, I am someone that both fortunately and unfortunately has rather high food needs. I'm several weeks into reversing now, and food is already in the region on training day of 6,500 calories, and body weight started to plateau. So rather than just slamming in muffins and bagels and shit food, I've always preferred easily digestible food, but the problem with that is it tends to be higher volume. So I'm finding ways of being able to get the best of both. So different protein sources, different carb sources, to get the same total but different volumes. I mean, adds nice variety to the day. But so this is meal one. I will sit and enjoy this, and then it'll be pre-meal and training. Back at the table with the pre-workout meal. Once again, carb combinations. So cream of rice, blueberries, banana, whey, dark chocolate, and raisins. This is a big one. My pre and post-workout meal are my largest meals of the day. Obviously, the training window is the most important. So I'll eat this. I will walk run again for digestion, and then it is delt focus. He's walking again, and yes, for good reason. Mostly this guy, but there are bodybuilding reasons as well. So yeah, for me, I'm a big fan of movement. Even in off-season, steps will sit in the region of 12k, and cardio sits at 25 minutes daily. I think movement's a hugely underrated tool, especially when trying to put in as much food as we can. Your body can only utilise what it can digest, and being able to walk between meals is a very underused tool to do so. I also like the idea of the carryover to training performance. So having good cardio, being able to move at a heavy body weight will carry over to those heavy, hard sets that you do on something like leg day. So your lungs aren't giving out before your legs are. Otherwise, where am I since I filmed the intro, given that was a few weeks ago? So I'm about 4.5 weeks into the reverse. Body weight is sitting around 267 upon wake. It's sat around 266, 267 all of this week. Like I said, it has started to plateau. That's not a bad thing. The look is still very good. Composition at this weight is the best it's ever been. Glute lines are still there. Skin is still thin, still vascular, feeling very good with lots of room to push. I have about 30 weeks planned of reversing, followed by a 14-week health phase before looking at shows next year. But that's best laid plans. We always go on the body's response. But I'm feeling very good. Training performance is very, very high. Like I say, food is very high currently. I've always had high food needs. But training day food is in the region of 6,500 calories. Rest day is around 5.5. With training day carbs just shy of 1,000 grams. Yeah, feeling very good. Just taking it week by week. I have pushed 2 on the cards shortly. So I've eaten my pre-workout meal, walk and run again, and then I'll go off to train. It's my delt focus session. I'll film a little bit of that, but I want to do some more in-depth training videos. This is more just kind of like a, hi, this is me, I do bodybuilding, I eat food, and we'll go from there. Right, intra and pre-workout. I am notoriously bad at drinking my intra, so I'm not someone that puts lots of carbohydrates into my intra-workout drink because I just won't finish it. I don't like training like I've got a full stomach, so I tend to leave fluids quite low during the training window. That's my own failing. So intra for me is simply 20 grams of EAs and 20 grams of carbs from a carb powder of sorts. And then pre-workout will be, today, given that it is Delt Focus Push, a big fuck off scoop of Pitbull Pump and MV Pre, because I'm just currently giving that a bit of a run. I don't use pump on leg days or back days because I can't fucking move, but it's always fun to get a pump on a push day. current base of operations, Foundry West Brom. Very nice gym. Really solid kind of membership base. Staff are class, and the kit's reliable, so gets the job done. Session done and post-workout meal are happening. This is one where there's quite a bit more experimentation currently. So previously my post-workout meal was written as like 200 grams cream of rice with whey, berries, raisins, that kind of thing. And as much as a 200 gram bowl of cream of rice is delicious, it's also got like nearly a litre of fluid in it, which I think kind of defeats the object of cream of rice being digestible. So I'm trialling currently rice-based cereal on the basis that you don't need a lot of fluid, just kind of soften it up. It goes down really easily, and even though it's a lot of volume initially, it seems to kind of compress as you eat it. So this is like 220 grams of a rice-based sugar puff thing, whey, blueberries and raisins. So this will go down immediately, and then I should be ready to eat in about an hour and a half, 2 hours for my next. Meal 4, identical to meal 5. So I'm only going to do this once because you can imagine that I'm going to do it again. It wouldn't be bodybuilding if it wasn't chicken and rice. So we have chicken, rice, spinach, kimchi, and salt. So very exciting. Times 2. Since you've last seen me, I did the chicken and rice twice. And we're now into the final meal, which is probably my favourite meal of the day, to be honest. So the way that I set up my nutrition is that I always train in the morning. So I'll do meal 1, pre-meal, train. So the way that I set up my food is my last meal essentially is a bigger meal to load me for the following day's training. So I have a big meal pre-bed, big first meal, big pre-workout meal, and then post-workout obviously. And then my 2 chicken and rice meals are almost like bridging meals, just to kind of get me through the day with protein and carb requirements. So my final meal of the day is one that I have recently changed. It was just like oats, cream of rice, berries, that kind of thing. But it was just becoming like a fucking mixing bowl of concrete, which is delicious, but clearly is not very good for the waistline down the line. Food volumes are high anyway. So I've switched up. So I now use Weetabix and whey. So hot Weetabix, very small. That's going to have berries in it with some honey on top and some almond butter. And then as an accompaniment, I have some sourdough and some low-fat bacon medallions. So I've got 2 carb sources again, just for volume reduction, and then 2 protein sources, mostly just to reduce my total whey intake of the day. Just because as much as whey is obviously bioavailable and a good protein source, I think excessive whey use can cause gut issues down the line. So just to reduce that a touch, because I know some of the runs, their protein quite high anyway. So they will sit and cool. The toast will be toasted, the bacon will be baconed, and then I'll sit and enjoy it with some Game of Thrones and a Space and that is the day wrapped, essentially. This video is a little bit disjointed. It's the first one. It's me just chopping and changing and having a play. So it's a bit of, I eat this, I do this, and then as I get some feedback, I'll tailor it a little bit. So there we go. Final product. So basically a bacon sandwich and a bowl of cereal. Not bad. Day done. Same again tomorrow.